bloodline. Freaks of the night coming out for your bloodline. Freaks of the night coming out for your bloodline. Freaks of the night coming out for your bloodline. Freaks of the night coming out for your bloodline.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shay. I make videos about horror movies, horror TV shows, horror video games, and theme parks because I live in Central Florida, and I feel like it would be a crime not to. And if you're not new here, welcome back. So today, we're going to be talking about Halloween Horror Nights 34. Yes, 34, 25. The years get confusing. And I actually have a special guest with me that's going to be joining me and going to be joining me on some future videos as well. But I'm going to drop him in and we'll bring him in now and then we'll get started.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello. Yes, this is my brother, everybody. He's the one I usually go to Halloween Horror Nights with all the time. So that's why we're doing this as the first video, because that's typically how it goes. So yeah, Halloween Horror Nights 34 started last weekend. It was a lot of fun. We went Saturday and Sunday. We did all 10 houses in both days, which is pretty awesome for opening weekend. So we're going to kind of go through and talk about the event. This is just the first, first glance of the event. Obviously, as the season goes on and as we do more stuff, it's going to change. So yeah, this is the first glance. So let's start with the Stay and Scream. So Stay and Scream is typically where if you have a day ticket to the event, you can go in and then stay and then get into the houses early. They've done it a bunch of different ways, but they changed it again this year. Last year and previous years, you would get your ticket scanned, you'd go in and then you would line up for the house you wanted to go into, and then you'd pretty much stand there for 2 hours. This year, it's a little bit different. You get a wristband, which is cool. You get a wristband. You can actually walk around the park some more. And yeah, you can go and line up for the house. They usually open the queues at like 4 p.m. So what did you think of the Stay and Scream this year?
I thought it was great. Obviously, not having to line up the way we used to line up was a benefit. I will say this though: if anybody's doing Stay and Scream, don't get suckered into thinking that you have a ton of time. You gotta line up pretty quick because people are lining up for those houses fast. So I mean, we tried to time it that second day and we were fine. I mean, it wasn't like we were too far back. Not at all. But if you think that, oh, I got to Stay and Scream and I could go jump on a couple of rides, you might be setting yourself up for some failure when you come out of that ride and then you notice that the line is a little longer than you expected. But no, it was much better this year. I mean, obviously, when we used to do it back in the day, we stay at Finnegan's and sit there and have a few cocktails.
Yeah.
But that got a little hectic, especially as the event continued to grow. The way they did it this time, especially with the houses that were available being right there next to each other.
Yeah.
So much better because then you could go in one, come out, go in the next one. They also staggered the times in which each house opened. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like obviously FNAF was the first one that was open and then they staggered them. So by the time you got out, there might be a little line or there might not be any line at all, depending on how quickly you got in and out of the first house. But no, I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, it definitely was a lot better than what they've been doing with the, Stay and Scream in the past. One thing I will say is that the Five Nights at Freddy's line is actually inside of the soundstage this year. So because it's inside of the soundstage, you're actually waiting in a air conditioning, which was nice. It was really nice. You're covered, I felt like for me, I wasn't as grumpy once the evening started because usually you're standing out there in the heat and it's like you get all sweaty and tired and sometimes it rains. So that was definitely like a huge bonus that it was inside. And Terrifier was outside, but we kind of got lucky. We got into a corner where there was shade from the fence. And then there was a big rain cloud that came, but it didn't really rain and it covered the sun. So it wasn't too hot. And that night actually was a really beautiful night temperature wise.
Yeah, it was.
So that was pretty good. Um, yeah, I definitely like the stay and screen better this year. I think the benefit of it is that if you're somebody that has a multi-day pass and you're going multiple times and your goal, you've already done all the houses, you've already taken care of all of that, it's actually going to be kind of good if you just want to go and have dinner, get on some rides and then, get in line. But if you're like going there for the houses, like he said, you want to be there no later than like 3:15 really. I
Yeah.
think they're around like 3:40 something, and we were like, oh yeah, we have plenty of time. And then we got there and the area, the little alleyway was full.
And it wasn't that full. It was probably like halfway
Yeah.
full, but still it was like you
Mhm.
think that you have more time. Like when we left, we thought we would be further. At least I did. I thought we
Yeah,
would
I
be
did
further
too.
in the front, and it wasn't like
Mhm.
we were that far back. I mean, it's just like I'm not really complaining about that because we were
Yeah.
like halfway for that long line, that long alleyway, and then
Mhm.
obviously when they let you in at 4 o'clock, that crowd splits up
Yeah, they
to
split
go
up
to
to go to
different,
the
right,
other
to the 3
the other
houses.
houses. Yeah.
Right.
So
So it
that's
wasn't
definitely
bad
very
at
good.
all. Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. I hope they continue to do this. I did like the wristbands idea because, the park actually closes at 5 for them to flip everything. So it's really good for them to be able to see, okay, these people have wristbands, so these people are supposed to be here. Opening the food, having the food open, having the drinks open, all of that is just really very, very helpful. And I hope that they continue to do it this way going forward.
Mhm.
So, okay, so the next one I have here is the shows. Now, we only saw the one show.
Yeah,
We only saw the one show.
the Lagoon show, and we
The
only
Lagoon
saw it from
show.
kind of the side too. We didn't really
Yeah,
get a full front shot of
yeah,
it.
because we got over there and it was already running.
Mhm.
But I mean, it was good. I love the Lagoon show. I do love the accessibility of the Lagoon show. I mean, yeah, we were over by the HHN bar where Mel's drive-in is, where we kind of stood there to watch it. So we were on the side, but we still got, the gist of what was going on.
Mhm.
Um, so that was really nice to be able to, see that and take that in. Um, what about the nightmare fuel? The line for that.
Oh my god, yeah. So we left and we walked over there and we thought we had plenty of time. What was it like? We had like a good half hour to like
Mhm.
45. I think the show had just ended, maybe 5 minutes or so. I
Yeah,
don't
it
even
was in
know,
it was actually
15.
in the process of ending when we
Yes,
got
it was
there.
in the
It was in
process
the
of,
process of
and
ending
so
because we
we
could hear the ending.
and we're walking there, and I mean that line was around towards what do you call it? Going towards the
Diagon
Harry Potter
Alley.
section, and it
Yeah.
was way further than we expected it to. And
Mhm.
we probably could have gotten in, but I didn't want to be that far back, And at
Yeah.
that time of night too, like we were already pretty,
Yeah.
we were
We
there
we
for a
had
while, and
we had been there for hours
it
at that
also helps
point.
that we have the multi-day passes, so
Yeah.
there's no urgency in going to see that. But you know, I'm
Exactly. We can
always
always catch it.
I'm always excited to see that. I know you're on the fence about it. I mean, you'll take it and leave it,
Yeah.
but I always like to see it. I just think it's just a nice little touch to the event.
Mhm.
And we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah,
Maybe this weekend,
absolutely.
but I don't know.
A-
We'll see.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, we'll see. And then they kind of like they do kind of have a show in the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane
Mm,
scare zone, which is really I thought that was really cool. They have we didn't really see the one in the masquerade section, but they have a show there too. Um but we didn't really get to see that one, so that was kind of unfortunate. That but the Cat Lady one was really cool. And honestly, it kind of emptied that scare zone out a little bit because where it's at, it's in front of the animal actors area. So people were gathered around watching that, and so it gave the people who were walking through the scare zone a chance to actually get scared by
Mhm.
the scare actors. So I
Yeah.
appreciated that. I was like, they need to do that more often, because that scare zone is that area is one of my favorite places for scare zones because of the trees and everything and how they decorate them. But the last few years, it's been so packed that they can't pump the fog through. They can't have the scare actors can't really run up to you. It's just too packed with
Yeah.
people. So we got lucky that both those nights where we didn't have that problem at all. So
Right. No, I mean that area is had become, like, I think, a fan favorite because of
hmm
the fog and the darkness and the
hmm
creepiness of that area. And yeah, you're right. The past few years, it hasn't been good at all. Like,
no.
you enjoy the fog, you go, oh wow, yeah, this is great, and then you realize, wait, now the fog is way too thick.
Yeah.
I can't see in front of me. You're not getting any of the scares. There's way too many
Yeah.
people you're bumping in. You don't know if the person
Yeah.
that's in front of you is really, like, actually like a scare actor or
hmm
or patron or whatever. But
Yeah.
that 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 show was really good, for
hmm
a very elaborate.
Yeah.
Kudos to these actors, man. Like,
Yeah.
they go all out. Like, they got some really talented people. The lady that was up there was fantastic.
hmm
Then they do a little show, and at first you're like, wait, is this a show? Because the trick or treater comes up and she, like, walked right by me, and
Yeah.
they go,
We
wait,
just
she's
thought she
part
was a
of the
regular
show.
person.
Yeah, she's part of the show, and then they have the cats out there, doing their thing, and
hmm
then also the little walkway that they had, like
hmm
like a
The
little
little
mini off to the
haunted
side.
house.
The second day that we went, that cat was telling us to go down there, and
Yeah.
we saw
She
he
was
pointing
pointing
like,
down
no,
there.
no, go this way, which we already had done, but it was still pretty cool, and they
It
had, like,
was
a couple
still
of jump
cool.
scares. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope they do more stuff like that. Like,
hmm
that was a good time.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, and I do want to kind of give a kudos to the actors, not only in the scare zones, but in the houses and
Oh
everything.
yeah,
And
we'll get to that. Yeah,
we're gonna talk about both of those
yeah,
things
yeah.
in a
Mhm.
second here. But um the last few years I've gone, the actors have done the best that they could. It's most of the time when I'm there after 8 p.m. because of the fact that, I go after work, and it's packed. It's filled with people, and I feel like, when it gets to that point where it's so dense, the crowds are so dense, it's really hard for a scare actor to, like, hone in on one person, and get to that person, and, like, go down and scare them and jump scare them. So personally, I'm like, this year it was really good. I feel like the actors are really, they're really killing it in every aspect. um yeah, no, but the shows were good. Hopefully we'll catch the Nightmare Fuel show soon. The Lagoon show, I'm just glad it's back, because that was one of my
Mhm.
favorites. And I like it because of the accessibility of it. Yes, you can sit in that one area and watch it, and you have a front row seat, but you can also grab, like, food and just stand there and watch it, or sit on a bench and watch it, and, like, not be surrounded by a ton of people, which we had that little area, not necessarily to ourselves, but it was spread out enough. Everybody was kind of like in their own little space,
Yeah.
and we just stood there and we watched it, and we're like,
Because
oh yeah,
everybody
this
was
is really.
packed in the middle, so
hmm
totally get that, and it's
Yeah.
fine. I mean,
Yeah, it takes
we
out
still got
the
to see the
crowds too.
show. It was still. I think as the event goes on, people are going to start learning. Oh, we don't literally have to sit in the middle to
hmm
enjoy this. Look, we got this whole
Yeah,
area to ourselves, and that side, those sides might start getting a little bit more busy as
busy.
well.
Yeah, yeah, of course. It was the first weekend, so we're heading into the second weekend. I know that they had it last night, and it's definitely gonna evolve as time goes on.
Mhm.
So let's talk about the scare zones. This year they have 4 scare zones, and then 2, like, interesting zones that are not really scare zones, but are kind of scare zones. So let's start with the Origins of Horror, which is right at the entrance of the park. What did you think of that scare zone?
It was nice to have some stuff over there again.
hmm
And uh, I liked it. I mean, I think
hmm
in the past, I mean, I'll be honest, in the past, it seemed a little bit more going on. I like the year that they
hmm
had they had the scare actors on the, like, little stages.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the
hmm
statues out there where you could, like, kind of like photo
hmm
ops, which were nice. Um,
hmm
but no, I mean, it's still nice. It's still kind of like it was a little different because when you do the stay and scream, you're already inside, so you don't really get
hmm
that effect at
Of
night,
walking
like
in,
when
yeah.
you're walking in, right? I think we kind of rob ourselves of that because we're already in the
Hmm.
park and we don't really get to see it until we're leaving, like, or,
Yeah.
we decide to kind of walk that way. But I think for
Hmm.
people walking into the park for the first time, those latecomers,
Hmm.
it's just a nice way to kind of ease them into the event. No,
Yeah.
I think it was fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
The statues just indicating like the IP
IPs.
houses, which was
Hmm.
pretty cool. And like I said, nice photo ops, and they got the crow guy that was up there. I think,
Yeah. I liked the crow
yeah,
guy. He
yeah,
was
the crow
fun.
guy.
He was fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that they actually brought that area back because in the past, like they haven't had anything there since I believe 2022 was the last
Mhm.
time they had anything there, and I never really understood why. I know that they were building the villain con, but I was like, okay, but that's inside, that's not outside, so you can just put something in front of it.
Right.
They stopped doing that. So when I saw that they had extended that scare zone to the end of like the Minions area, not the full end, not like past Minions Cafe, but to the end of the Minions area, I was
Mhm.
relieved because at least it's some atmosphere. It's and there's people with chainsaws in there. There's the gargoyles that, like he said, where they're on the stands and their photo
Mhm.
op. There's also these like statue ladies that hide, behind the other statues that'll come
I
out at
forgot
you.
about those. Yes, those were
Yeah, the
great. They
statue
were good.
ladies. Their costume was
Okay.
awesome. I loved the
Yes.
costume for
Yeah.
that. The costume was really
And
good.
again, the ability to just stand still like that, and you
Mhm.
start questioning whether or not, and it's somebody, but you still question until they jump out at you. So, no, great job with that, and
Great
you
job
see
on
that
that one.
throughout the park and
The
and
the
houses as
event.
well. Yeah.
There's a lot of really good people that can stand very, very still
Mhm.
and trick you into thinking, and we'll talk about that when we get to the houses. But
Mhm, mhm.
okay, so then the second scare zone is the mutations of toxic 20s. I guess we'll just call it toxic 20s because that's what the main name of it is. This one's in the New York section. How did you feel about that one?
That was one of the is for the first time in a while. Like it was good. It was very active.
Hmm.
Like the actors were again great. I can't say enough about the actors. I know you had a good time going through there because they were on top of you. Like
They
it
were.
was so good. I'll say this. Like we literally, at least for me, and I think you felt this way too. We didn't say this to each other. We kind of wanted to avoid that going out. Like at least I did because
Yeah,
it's so much and so exhausting
it's
getting
so
through that. But it's a
they were aggressive.
yes, but it's good. It's a good
It
thing because
is.
it's just like if you go through it like a few times that night, you're like, okay, I just want to. I'm at the point where I'm trying to get from point A to point B, and
Hmm.
you
You're like, let's just
gotta
cut through.
dodge
Let's cut
all
through
of
San
these people.
Francisco.
But no, they
Let's cut
also.
through by Transformers.
But that's not a knock on them. That's just because they did
Yeah.
their job so good, and I thought, like it's just a great atmosphere.
Hmm.
Enough fire going through, a lot of actors coming up, following you, staying in character
The
for a long.
glowing,
Yes,
the
yeah.
glowing.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed
Yeah, that scare zone so far, that scare zone is my favorite, which
it. Hmm.
it's been a long time since the New York scare zone has been my favorite.
Hmm.
Um, the first reason I like that scare zone is because of the fact that it makes me feel like pre-pandemic Halloween Horror Nights, where the actors are actually trying to scare you. I feel like ever since the pandemic started, and then Universal brought Halloween Horror Nights back in 2021, the scare zones have become like picture zones. So
Yeah.
people just go in there to take selfies with the
Mhm.
actors, and that's always bothered me because I mean I haven't been going to Halloween Horror Nights as long as you have, but I've been going since 2013, and I remember when I went in 2013, that was the year that they did the whole park was Walking Dead, and the walkers were aggressive, and they
Mhm.
were just they would pop up anywhere, and nobody was stopping to take pictures of them. You were trying to get away from them
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
everywhere.
Right.
Um, so like I liked that because even though there were people taking pictures, there were people taking videos, the actors never stopped trying to get people. They
Hmm.
never stopped and froze in the middle and was like, "Oh, okay, come take a selfie with me."
Right.
Like they were like, "No, I'm going to keep walking. I'm going to get close to your camera and growl and then walk away and get the next person." Um yeah, I love the sets in there. I was really grateful that they actually had more set pieces. I know last year Torture Fair had quite a bit, but I felt like this fit the aesthetic of that area more. It
Mhm.
really does fit the New York theme. Like they actually played into the fact that they have it in the New York section, which was
Mhm.
smart. And yeah, the actors were incredible. Yeah, that was like the first time in a long time I've walked through a scare zone and actually gotten scares. Yeah, actually gotten scares. I mean, yeah, at one point he's right. They were swarming me. There was like it
Yeah.
was like a line of them. It was like they were lining up to meet me. They just kept coming up to me and coming, and I
Mhm.
was like, okay, there's like one that's a skeleton, one that's a lady with her face like pustules on her face, and she's like,
Mhm.
does this look bad? And I'm like, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
You know, like
and I also like the fact that I felt like, you felt that they were telling the story,
mhm,
of what was really going on. You wasn't just walking through because there was some, like, oh, there's some creepy people here and creepy people there.
mhm,
Like they were literally like telling you a story, and there was like an evolution
yeah,
to what was going on as far as like somebody who was affected by the toxic sludge or
yeah,
whatever it was, and then
yeah.
like you see them kind of progress, and then you saw like the really the ones. It was almost like Last of Us type deal, where
Mhm.
you saw
Yeah.
they got the evolution, so they get to the bloaters and stuff like that. You had like
Yeah.
the one
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
that was
the
like
ones that
really,
yeah, yeah, the ones that were just had, like, the green on their clothes, and
yeah,
then they had a
yeah.
little bit of, like, pustules on their face, and then you had the ones
Hmm.
that their skin was melted off, they had a
Hmm.
claw for a hand, and then you got to that one, like you said, like, it was almost like the bloater, he had the big head, and his
Right.
shoulder was
Yeah.
all big, and he's, like, lumbering around, so, yeah, it was cool to see the different mutations and the different
Mhm,
stages
mhm.
of mutations, and like you said, they really worked hard on the story with that one,
Yeah.
so I definitely appreciated that one. The next one was not really a scare zone, it was club horror in San Francisco. How'd you feel about that one?
It is what it is. I think, to be honest, I think it's a good place to go and kind of like take a breather.
Mhm,
If you are someone who enjoys having a drink or two, um,
mhm,
it's a nice place to go grab a drink, and then you just kind of take a breather. There's nobody in your face. You have
mhm.
dancers up there with mask on or whatever. I didn't hate it. I think you kind of need that, especially
Yeah,
coming from New York. Like when the more I think about it, coming from the New York area, that it's intense. It could be intense. Like it was
mhm.
like, dude, like we went through that a few times, and it was like, wow,
Walk
man,
through it
I'm
5
tired. Like I'm tired of, and not in a bad way. Going,
like, you're
you feel like you go
dodging these
through it,
people.
right? You feel like you go through it, and then when you get there, it's just like, okay, you got dancers on there. You don't feel like you're in like a any. You just feel like you're in a club, and there's some
Yeah,
dancers
like
that
you're in
are
a
in
nightclub.
costume, and like I said, you
Mhm.
got the drinks over there. You get away from you kind of just catch your breath before you get to the next thing. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good
Mhm,
idea. That area to me has kind of been the weak area, you
mhm.
know, and I don't hate it if they continue to just have that area as kind of like, okay, this is an area to decompress, and
Yeah,
then before
yeah,
you get back into it, maybe you
yeah,
need that, and it's better than having the bar around that corner
mhm.
by the water, because that line got crazy, and
Oh, goodness.
it was off the path,
Yeah, it was off the
so it's
beaten
like,
path,
yeah,
and they
so
actually had a nice little, like, lounge area that they set up outside. They
yeah,
had some chairs and stuff like that, so you
so
could
this is
go and sit and kinda take
better.
a load off, for a minute. Um, that area for me is one of the most claustrophobic areas when they do scare zones, and last year for me, it was kind of like they hit the peak because they did the Blumhouse thing, and it was fine, but again, it was more like a picture zone. So everybody they have Megan on stage, and they have The Purge, and they have, Black Phone, and everybody wants to stop and take pictures. And then if you've got thousands of people there that night, and they're all pushing through this one area, all of a sudden you're like body to body trying to get through to get to, the show or get to the next set of haunted houses.
Mhm.
So I think doing the club aspect, as much as, like, I know I heard some people when we were there complaining about it, um as much as I heard that, I think it's actually better because it keeps that area light, because the people who were complaining about it, they're just going to walk straight through.
Mhm.
They don't care. They're like, I just want to get to the scares. And that means you're not going to be shoving through crowds of people. Like, obviously, we only went one night, not one night, one weekend. We'll see how it is when we go this weekend, if
Mhm.
it's still the same, if there's less people in those areas. And also later in the evening, it probably could get more packed, as you have the people that want to come and drink and, hang out and kind of, like you said, decompress.
Mhm.
But the last few years, those sections have been the most packed sections, and it's been so hard to get through. and it's also hard for the actors to do their job to
But
scare
there's
you
no reason
because
to stop. There's no reason to
Mhm,
stop there. You know, like
mhm,
again, because you're not taking is not there's no photo ops. And the dancers aren't there for photo ops. They're there
yep,
to just like background entertainment while you go and grab a drink. It's meant
mhm,
to keep the thing flowing. And it,
flowing,
you
yep,
know, and that's the good part about it. Yeah, you'll catch a few people leering, you know, like they'll be
yep,
looking, but um for the most part, no, you're not going to catch people like sitting there going, "Oh,
mhm,
take a picture, take." But you'll get a couple, but yeah, it's meant to
yeah,
keep it going, and that's and that
exactly.
and we never saw that bar. That the bar, the line was never too bad.
No, it was
You
never
know,
too bad. It
yeah,
was, and honestly, I think that's probably for the best because again, people were just breezing through that, and then
mhm,
they were going to the bars with the longer lines, and it's
right,
like
yeah,
you
yeah,
could have just gone to this bar here.
right, yeah,
And who knows, that could change as time goes on and more people find out. Like that's the place to go for that.
hmm
Um, then they brought back the chainsaw clowns in the Simpsons area. How did you feel about that?
they're great. I love them. I mean,
Hmm.
that to me, they should always be there. That is Halloween Horror
Hmm.
Nights to me. Hearing that, come
Yep.
on, man! Like I remember back in the day when you first stepped foot into the park, that was the
Hmm.
first thing you would hear, and you knew it was HHN time. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
that's the sound, and you know I
Hmm.
miss the smell of the gas
The
too.
gas.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's what I miss. To me, I think
Hmm.
that's a staple. They need to always
Yeah.
have them. Like, don't
Yeah.
take them away. Don't ever
Yeah.
take them away.
Don't
Keep
take
them there.
don't take them away. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Chainsaw Gang should always be
Yes.
there.
It
I'm
should
really
always
glad
be.
they brought them back as well. The actors in that area were fun too. You know, they were
Mhm,
doing their usual tricks where they were hiding behind the bridge and then running
mhm,
after people when they came over the bridge, which I love that. That's always so funny to me.
mhm,
You know, they were all very pleasant, you know, come up and scare you, they'd walk beside you and you wouldn't even know they were there, and then they'd rev the chainsaw
mhm,
and you know, you see people jump and scream.
mhm.
So, yeah, I completely agree because the last few years, that area has just felt so dead. And because they have so many areas that are empty, like the Men in Black area is empty. The Harry Potter area outside of it is empty. I know on the inside they got the Death Eaters.
Mm.
You know, and then there's that whole like little area after the Minions that's like empty until you get to New York. I'm not saying
Mhm.
that the entire park has to be filled with stuff, but there's a lot of empty space. It's really nice that they decided to fill it that at least that
Yeah.
space in again. And they didn't really have to do much other than just be like, hey, we're gonna put some people in clown costumes and give them chainsaws.
Yeah, and I understand why some of those spots are empty. You
Hmm.
need a spot to catch your breath. You do.
Hmm.
You can't have somebody running up in front of you, especially
Yeah.
look, this is Florida, man. It's hot, it's unbearable. Like you're
Hmm.
there for hours. Sometimes you need to like like you said when we took the little break, that's where you took your break. You went and you sat
Hmm.
down, we grabbed some water, you sat
Yep.
down for a few minutes, and then we went back into it. You need that like little that little break
Yeah.
before you go, okay, I'm ready to go back in, because you constantly have people jumping in your face, and then
Yeah.
also standing online, for the
Hmm.
houses for a long
Yep.
period of times. No, and it was just great to have them back. Like I said,
Hmm.
I hope next year being an anniversary year, like
Hmm.
I hope they double the amount of chainsaw people.
Yeah. I hope they do too. I hope
Yeah,
they
like
do too because
yeah,
that
I want
was
more of them.
yeah, that's definitely a lot of fun. And then also like to go back to the point of like you need spaces that to breathe. A lot of those areas too past Diagon Alley, they're kind of compact. So you
Yeah,
really
yeah.
couldn't do a scare zone there because if you tried to do a scare zone there, everyone would be on top of each other. Like
Yes.
and it would just be too much. You have the show there, you have two entrances for houses there, or
Mhm,
three
mhm.
technically if you count the one by Men in Black.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of good that that's like a dead zone. I know some people complain like, oh, there's too many
Yeah.
dead zones, but it's kind of good that that's a dead zone because it is a very tight area. So if you're trying to walk through there and then there's like scare actors and props and all that stuff, it
But
just
you
and then
also
people trying to line up and
you also have kiosks there.
the food.
You have the food, you have merchandise. Like you don't
Hmm.
want somebody. You also want a spot where people can like shop as well, and
Hmm.
nobody's gonna stand there in line if people are constantly jumping at them. Like
Hmm.
that's the spot. That's the spot on the outside for people to do that. I mean, you
Yep.
have your indoor stores, but this is a spot on the outside for people to grab something quick. So you
Hmm.
don't want to take away from that. I mean, look, in the end, they're trying to make money, and that's a spot in the
Hmm.
back that, at least it's in the back. It's
Yeah.
not right in the front in your
And
face. It's in the back.
and to be quite honest, when we went back there, every time we went back there, the lines for the food were always pretty decent,
Yeah, yeah,
So like
yeah,
that's the place to go get your food, and then
yeah.
they have a few tables, and then of course you can sit on the curb and stuff like that, and then just eat
Hmm.
and kind of like you said, decompress, relax, and then get up and be like, all right, let's go, let's
Go
go for
again.
the rest of
Right.
them, But yeah, so I thought that it was fine that they had the chainsaw clowns were there. And even the chainsaw clowns is kind of like easing you back into everything because there weren't too many of them.
Right.
And,
Right. Yeah.
like it was easing you back into like the event. Okay. And then after that, we have the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane,
Hmm.
which we kind of talked about already. How did you feel about the Cat Lady of Crooked
No,
Lane?
she was great. Like I said before, man. Like that that show, I didn't know what to expect from it. And I want more of that. Like she deserves her
Hmm.
own house, her own.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they do give her one. Um, the lady, the actor, she was fantastic. The
Hmm.
cats were great. They were creepy looking, and we love cats, but they were
We
some
love
creepy
cats.
looking cats with blood all over their
Hmm.
faces,
Yeah.
and just kind of just yeah. I loved it. I want more of
Hmm.
that. It was a perfect spot for that too. If we
Hmm.
were coming from the other way, it would have led right into it. We kind of always walk around, and I'm going to get
Hmm.
into that as well when as you continue my thoughts on how you and I always seem to like go around, and it, it, I would have loved to see that coming from the other angle for the first time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
I know how we always
Yeah.
go around the park. So I knew that wasn't going to happen, and it's not like a
Yeah.
big deal or anything
And
because it's
now
still
and
great.
yeah, and now
Mhm.
we've done the houses,
Right,
we're
right.
not in any hurry to do anything specific,
Hmm.
unless we're with somebody that's never been,
Yeah,
this year.
which will be
But yeah, which will
Saturday.
be Saturday, yeah. um, but yeah, no, the Cat Lady of Crooked Lane, first of all, I loved the cat people. I thought they
Okay,
were cute. They were
they
creepy,
were
but
not
I thought they were
cute.
cute. I thought they were very cute.
They were not cute.
They were very cute. Like I like their movements. They all tried,
They were good.
they all did the cat movements. They were doing like this and
Mhm,
the
mhm.
stretching. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. Except you
Yeah,
got blood all over you.
yeah,
And that's not cute, but it's still cute. I love that little haunt maze area that they had, even
yes.
though it's very, very short. And obviously you can see the jump scares coming from a mile away.
Mhm,
Um, it still was cool. It was a nice little like shed. I love the stained glass windows on that
mhm,
that shed. I know I said that. I was like, it looks really pretty at night because it's like glowing and it just looked really pretty.
mhm.
The cat lady's house and her show, I loved all of that. I thought that was, like I said, it was perfect because it took away from the crowdedness of that scare zone for us, at least the nights that we were there.
Mhm, mhm.
I do agree. I would have loved to see it from the other side, coming through, and we definitely will at some point. I know we
Yeah.
will.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and then they also in this one they did have phases of transformation. So and actually if you go from the other side to the side we were at, you get the correct order because you
Right.
start out with the trick-or-treaters. They're
Mhm,
jump running around with their candy and they're jumping in your face and scaring you. Then you get to the kids that are starting to transform a little bit. They've got,
mhm,
scars on their face, scratches. Some of them got the cat paw, some of them got tails, some of them got
mhm.
ears. And then once you get closer to the cat lady's house, now they're full-blown cats.
Yeah.
So I like that. So next time, yeah, we definitely are going to go from the Hollywood area through Central Park
Right.
versus Simpsons through Central Park. So
Mhm.
that way we get the full effect of it. But yeah, no, that was definitely one of my favorites. I think like I'm having a hard time between that one and the Toxic 20s. I love
Mhm.
both of those areas
Yeah,
so
yeah, they were
much.
really good.
Like
Yes.
they're so good this year. And
They were fantastic.
the because I love, obviously, yeah, we, like you said, we're cat people. We love cats.
Mhm.
And I loved this area because it was, it was cute to me. I know it's not supposed to be cute, but it was cute to me. And then like there were some good scares. I mean, that one cat scared the crap out of me when we were
Yeah.
watching the show.
Mhm.
Like we were standing there watching the show, and then all of a sudden, I turned my head and there was a cat standing right by my face, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh!" I was like, "Oh!" And that's cool because the cats that they have in front of the stage, they move around throughout the crowd. They're not just in
Mhm.
front of the stage. They don't stay in that one spot.
Right.
So they move. They'll go behind you, and you won't even see them go. Like you're too busy
Yeah.
focusing on the cat lady, and then all of a sudden there's a cat
There's so
behind
many.
you.
There were a lot. There are a lot of them. That's the thing
Hmm.
because you're thinking, oh, there might be like 3 or 4 or something like that.
Hmm.
No, man, these cats keep coming and they're all
They
over the
keep
place.
coming.
And you're
Yep.
like, wait a
Yep.
second,
They keep
there are a lot
coming.
of cats. So no,
Definitely.
I really like that. I really did.
Okay, and then so this year they're doing something, another new thing that they've never done before. They actually have a mini scare zone in front of Mel's Drive-In, which they turn into Mel's Die-In, and these are the drive-in zombies. How did you feel about the that area?
That might be the weakest area.
Hmm.
It was a good idea. We talked about this, so they need more people there. It should have
Hmm.
been filled more. It's way too much, and maybe there's a reason. Maybe because they're on skates, that it's a little
Yeah,
dangerous. Who knows? Um, Maybe they had trouble finding enough skaters that you could,
yeah,
who knows?
maybe.
During casting, I just felt like it was it was um it was too empty.
Hmm.
They should have had they should have had a lot more going around, feeling
Hmm.
a lot creepier. Yeah,
Yeah, they
I
should
mean,
have had a, they should have had
it's
a
a
few
nice
more
idea,
props
but
too.
yeah, it was a nice idea, and I hope that they continue doing stuff like that.
Hmm.
They just need to fill it in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It is the weakest area in the park this year, but I do like the idea and I hope they go forward with it because especially since Mel's Die-In has become such an icon in and of itself for for Halloween Horror Nights Orlando. Yep, you got your shirt. I was gonna wear mine today, but I couldn't find it. It's probably still on the
Oh,
wash. But
mhm.
yeah, like the Mel's they have Mel's die-in merch, like full merch this year, which is
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, some
A
good
lot of
stuff.
it looks
Yeah,
really good.
yeah.
And I think that that's cool because that's something that everybody like it's like when I see that, it feels like they're catering to the fans, like the
Mhm.
people who are diehard HHN fans, because they're, for people like us who have gone a lot, when we see that sign lit up as Mel's Die-In, we're like, oh, yep, it's Halloween Horror Night season.
Mhm.
Let's
Mhm.
go. So now they're like embracing that. They're like, okay, for you guys, the ones that, love those little touches, like they started with the see you in the fog thing. That became
Mhm.
like their slogan. And then now they have the Mel's Die-In. So the zombies were cool. The actors did a
Yeah,
good job in that
they were
area
good.
too. The
Mhm.
the the I
Yeah, they
love
were
the
good.
roller skating zombies. They did a good job. There were some zombies that were dancing to Monster
Mhm.
Mash, and it
Mhm.
was fun. But yeah, they definitely need more in that
Yeah.
area going forward. And I hope that this is like a good. They're dipping their toes in the water. Hopefully next year they'll dive in and they'll make that area like really cool.
I would they should also do something like a little mini show.
Hmm.
Like it's nice to have them doing their, skating around with their platters of limbs on them. But there should be like every now and then, kind of like how you see those old school diners where they dance
Hmm.
on like Monica used to work at it in Friends. And
Yeah, yeah.
they should do something like that
They
where
dance on
they
the
dance to
skates.
like Thriller or somebody, somebody's watching me or something like that.
Yeah.
And just do like a quick. It doesn't have to be the full song, but like just
Hmm.
something where they all get together, they do like a little thing, and then they
Hmm.
disperse, and then they come back out to scare, and they do that periodically. I know I'm talking. If anybody watches
No,
it
you're
and they work, they're like, heck no, I ain't doing that. That's too much work.
good.
Like, what's this idiot talking
they're
about
like
here?
they're
But
like I quit.
like, no, I quit. No, I'm not doing all of that. That's too much. I'm skating around. That's all I signed up for. But I just
Hmm.
think something like that would fill up that area where they used to have the cars because they don't have the cars there anymore, right? Because
Yeah,
they
they don't
weren't
have the
there. Like
cars
I always
anymore.
forget. Like I look and I'm like the cars aren't there.
Hmm.
But do that there, fill up that spot,
Hmm.
and have I don't know how many. I didn't count how many actors they had there, but I'm guessing you should have at least 10.
Yeah, it seemed like
You
they had
know?
about it seemed like they had about 6, but I'm not
Was
sure.
it? Okay. But
Seemed
they
like they
should
had
have like
about
10
6.
and then have them do something like a little quick little show and then disperse and then go back out there and freak
Mhm.
everybody off. Or, get all scary and then
Yeah.
come back every like maybe like once an hour or something like that. And do
Mhm.
something real quick and
Yeah, do something real quick
that's
and
just it didn't hurt the experience at all though. It was fine.
no, it was nice. It was a nice little area, and I know that they're doing photo ops and stuff there.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
actually have a photographer station there to take photos with the Mel's
And
Die-In
it was never
sign.
busy though over there,
But it was never, yeah, it
yeah.
was never busy over there. So, but it's all good. It's all
Mhm.
good. Okay, so then the last one is the Masquerade Vampires Ball. How did that one's in the Hollywood section? How did you feel about that one?
I liked it, but I don't feel like we spent enough time there.
No,
And
we
that
didn't.
and that seems to be like, and that's when I said I was going to come back to talking about this. That seems to
Hmm.
be what we, at least when I go with you. And then
Hmm.
again, I'm not saying that this is like on purpose. I just feel like it's how we go around the park.
Yeah,
We
we always
always seem to
start
do the same
in New
thing.
York.
Um, I want to spend more time there because first off, the costumes look fantastic.
Hmm.
Um, the actors again seem to be really into it. I don't think we were there in that area long enough for me to get the full effect.
Yeah.
And we always seem to do that in that area. When we get to that part, we seem to zip through it. And then
Hmm.
every year, for me, it feels like every year
Yeah.
we seem to
Yeah.
just like fly through that part. And then this year was no different. And I think
Hmm.
coming back, if we go again by ourselves,
Hmm.
I would like to go that way first, or maybe like
Hmm.
spend a little bit more time in that area. Maybe not first because you don't want it to be too light out, but
Hmm.
just go and spend
Yeah.
a little more time over there.
Yeah. I agree. I thought the scare zone, first of all, I thought it was a major upgrade from last year's
Oh yeah, yeah.
scare zone that was
Mhm.
in that area. Last year it was very, very bare. There
Yeah.
weren't a lot of props. There weren't a lot of there wasn't a lot of stuff going on there. This year it seems like, they really upped the ante on the props and everything. So every little stage looked really nice. The
Mhm.
costumes, like you said, were amazing. I feel like that scare zone is always like, I call it it's the sleigh scare zone, because it's always like something to do with like, beautiful people in that scare
Yeah.
zone, and so there's always like beautiful costumes. Like that's the one thing I will say is that the Hollywood scare zone always seems to have the most beautiful set pieces and costumes compared to like the New York scare zone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think a lot of that is because they anticipate that everybody's going to go to New York, so they're
Mhm.
like, we're going to focus more on the we're going to focus more on the way it looks. Like I remember the one year when they did the graveyard scare zone and they had all the people that were ghosts in that area. That was really pretty. And then last year, even though it was sparse, the costumes were really cool and pretty in that year. The Dark Zodiac, the costumes were awesome in
Mhm.
that one. So I think that, yeah, they definitely put a lot of artistry into that scare zone. So
Yeah.
and yeah, we didn't spend enough time in there. I do like it. Obviously, I love vampires, so like
Mhm.
if they put something
Same.
with vampires in there, I'm like, all right, I'm set. Like it doesn't matter. And they're always a lot of fun there. The actors in that area are always a lot of fun. You can tell they're enjoying it. So yeah, I mean, we'll definitely
Yeah.
get in there. What would you say right now in the beginning of the season? What would you say your favorite scare zone is so far?
My favorite scare zone is probably the Crooked Cat Lady scare.
Mm,
Um, I just thought it was unique. It's
mhm,
something that they haven't done, and that's why I liked it so much. I love the New York area. I thought that was
mhm.
great too. And
Yeah,
but we've done that before.
yeah,
Not that exact thing, but we've done that before. This was
mhm,
new. This was something like very creative, and
mhm,
I love the swing that they took on it. The stage that they built, with the house. The
mhm.
acting was fantastic again. Yeah, so that was my favorite, and mainly because it was new.
Yeah, it was unique.
Mhm.
It was unique. Yeah, no, I would have to say that's probably my favorite because of all those reasons, and also because I think the cats are cute. Also
Yeah,
because I think the cats are cute. I mean, like I was still getting scared at times in that scare zone, but it was just like I just loved
they
the
were
the
creepy.
atmosphere,
They were creepy.
and it also felt like Halloween. Like
Yes,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
other thing is that it felt
Mhm,
like Halloween, and
mhm.
I know it's because yeah, you got the trick or treaters and everything, but it's like I love when Halloween Horror Nights does stuff like that
Yeah.
when they lean into the Halloween part of it.
Mhm,
Like my favorite house that they've done. I mean, right now, it's still Wicked Growth, and Wicked Growth was
mhm,
about the spirit of Halloween,
mhm.
and I love the way they did that house. I wish they would bring it back like without the COVID restrictions, honestly, because
Yeah,
I feel like we got even though it was really good and we got a lot of scares in that house, I feel like we got a little bit robbed. So
yeah.
if they brought back that house and they just let it be what it is, no, I guarantee you it'd be 10 times scarier. It'd be 10 times better. But I love that like when they lean into the Halloween aspect, and it makes me nostalgic for like when I was a kid running around the neighborhood,
Mhm.
Halloween time, we got your little basket and you're running around with your friends, and you're all the adults are, sitting on the porch or sitting on the porch, but sitting in the front yard, and they're like, they got costumes on, and
Yeah,
I miss that type of stuff. So
yeah. Well,
it was nice
you.
for, it was nice for that. Yeah, I know.
I really miss it. I used to have a ball growing up
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
running around Queens with that.
exactly. Exactly. No,
that was a
it's a
good time. Good time.
lot of fun. All right, so
Mhm.
now let's talk about the houses. I'm going to go in the order of what we did first,
Okay. All
and
right.
then because that's just a little bit easier. So the first house we did, because let me tell you guys, it probably should be your first house if you are interested in this. Five Nights at Freddy's. That was the first house that we did. Um, that house has been getting up to like 180-minute waits and
Mhm.
even higher. I heard one night it was like 200 something. So yeah, definitely if you do Stay and Scream, get in line for that one if you're interested in it. If you don't care, then don't worry about it. But
Mhm.
how did you feel about Five Nights at
Oh,
Freddy's?
before I answer this, are we going to rank these at all at some point, or are we just going to talk about them because we didn't
We're
really
just
discuss that?
Oh yeah, we're gonna just talk about them. We're
Talk
not
about
gonna
them?
really rank, and then we'll talk about
Okay.
which one is our current favorite.
Okay.
We'll rank them at the end. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No problem. The house is great. It's it, look, if you're like a hardcore FNAF fan, I am not a hardcore FNAF fan. I really like the games. I played the VR games so many times with our niece. Um, I I really think that it's a creepy game. I enjoyed the movie, which the house is based on the movie.
Hmm.
It is one of those houses that it's more it's more for you to go, hey, I stepped foot inside this movie,
Hmm.
and it's great. The animatronics are fantastic.
Yeah,
You
they
know what I'm
really
saying? Like
are.
if you've been waiting to see Five Nights at Freddy's in real life your whole life, go to this house because it
Yeah.
delivers that. It delivers
Hmm.
that. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a great way to start the event.
Yeah. It is. It's a I'm a diehard FNAF fan.
Hmm.
I remember when the first game came out, and I was watching people play it on YouTube, like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and all that stuff. And that was really when I started like religiously watching YouTube
Hmm.
gaming, like at that point in time. And I still watch it, even though like a lot of people have moved on. I love Five Nights at Freddy's. And I remember when I played the first game, I was like, I don't know how they could do this, but they could make this into a really good haunted house. Um, Granted, I know the main complaint that I've been seeing the last couple of days on YouTube is that the house isn't scary, but I think people forget that the main fan base for this franchise is kids.
Hmm.
And I saw a lot of kids in that line. They can't make it traumatizing.
Hmm.
Yes, the concept and the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's is not for kids at all,
Hmm.
but um kids like it, and they can't take that and then make it gory and bloody and horrifying and traumatizing. And also Universal almost always every single year has one house that's like their fun house.
Hmm.
It has jump scares, but it's not meant to be like for scaring. Last
Hmm.
year was Ghostbusters Frozen
Hmm.
Empire. They had Beetlejuice one year. They
Hmm.
did Ghostbusters one year, the old Ghostbusters.
So
They
yeah.
always have a house that is not scary or
Hmm.
supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And this year it's Five Nights at Freddy's, and I thought they did a great job with it. Um, there were a lot of there were a lot of good jump scares. I still had some fun. I screamed a couple times. Bonnie got me like really good that one time in the house.
Yeah.
um and then seeing the animatronics up close, it was just cool, walking by and Chica's like right there with the cupcake, and she's like looking
Hmm.
around the eyes. I was like, that's so cool, like that is Chica, like
Hmm.
it is definitely one of those houses that you're like, that's cool. It's
Yeah.
not one of those houses that you're like, wow, I need to take a breather after that one.
No, it's a good way to start, and I really
Mhm.
liked it. Yeah, it's not a scary house. but it's again, you get to be in that world and
Hmm.
kind of marvel at what you're looking at for the first time, the things that you've always wanted to see, so yeah. And I think it's almost more like almost like walking through a museum for the first time,
Yeah.
like, oh wow, look
Yeah.
at them, they're right there on stage, and look,
Hmm.
I saw some great possibilities for some serious scares that
Some
they didn't
serious
pull the
scares.
trigger
Yeah.
on. But that
Hmm.
was other than that, no, I was not disappointed at all.
Yeah.
Really
Also,
impressed.
before we move on, I did notice in the haunted house that because this is based off of the movie, they have that employee of the month wall in there, and if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
look
yeah.
at that, you can actually see a few YouTubers on there. I
Oh,
saw
really?
yeah, I saw 8-bit Ryan as we were walking by. On He was in the bottom like corner right there, and I was like, oh my god, it's 8-bit Ryan, because I
Mhm.
watch 8-bit Ryan pretty religiously, so I saw that and I was like, oh my god, it's Ray. I was like,
That's
that's so
cool.
cool. I was like, I wonder if he knows he's in the house. Like, that's so cool. Like, that's awesome to see familiar faces. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I'm glad that they finally were able to do it, even if it was off the movie more so than the game. I'm just glad
Mhm.
I got the opportunity to walk through FNAF.
Yeah.
So the second one that we did was the WWE, The Horrors of the Wyatt Six. What did you think of that one?
This house exceeded my expectations. Yes, I am a wrestling fan. I love the WWE, but I didn't come into that house thinking that I was going to see wrestling. I know the Wyatt Six. I know what Bray Wyatt was about. I knew that it was going to be that kind of house, and they delivered on that house. That house was fantastic. I mean, gosh, the
Mhm.
the scare actors in there were big dudes, and they I think they captured what was in his mind when he was alive. They
Mhm.
captured it really well, and they even got it. It was gorier. It was gorier than I expected, because
Mhm.
that stuff isn't in the WWE. Like
Right.
it wasn't. They had references to wrestlers, and they had some
Mhm.
little things here and there, but it wasn't about that. It was
Yeah.
literally taking a trip into the mind of Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, and it delivered it. It was creepy. It was scary. Great jump scares.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That last
that
run, that
last
last
run
room.
was great. Was fantastic. Was scary, as a few of the houses were.
Mhm.
Like I said to you, that it was almost like when you watch a fireworks show, and that last like
And
of
they're
a
all coming
show.
through. Yep.
Yeah, the crescendo of a show. That's
Mhm.
what a lot of these were,
What it
and
felt like. Yeah.
they're just jumping out at you from each direction, where you can't get away from them. Like, you just can't.
Yeah. Is
Great
it's
tribute to him.
great.
Great tribute
It's
to him.
great.
Yeah, fantastic
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, I'm not a WWE fan anymore. I haven't been since the early 2000s, and the second that I read the story about the Wyatt Six, I was like, this could be really good if done properly. I thought I heard my cat knocking something over. This could be really good if done properly. So I was interested in seeing where they were going to go with this. First of all, I have to say that when we went in it, it said it was a 20-minute wait. It was not. We walked right into the house.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
walked right into the house. For a good portion of the house, I didn't have anybody behind me.
Mhm.
So that was fun.
Mhm.
Um, and the beginning of the house, they actually have the characters from the Wyatt Six. And there was the one girl, I don't know her name, but
Yeah, yeah, Sister Abigail,
yeah, we
Nikki
did
Clark.
not we did not think that she was real,
Yes,
and then she moved.
yes.
She was so still. She was so
She did a
still that it
great
was like
job.
we walked we because they had the one guy on the other side, and when we walked in, he immediately was like in our face, and we were
Mhm.
like, okay. And then as soon as we were walking around, she jumped out, and I was like, oh no. I was like, that
Yeah,
was cool.
yeah.
This
I
house,
said I'm sorry, I said Sister Abigail. It was Abby the Witch. My bad.
Abby the Witch. Okay, yeah,
Abby the
yeah,
Witch.
yeah, yeah. Abby the Witch. Okay.
Abby the Witch.
Yeah, no, this house was scary for what it is.
Mm,
You hear WWE, and I think a lot of people felt this way. They were like, WWE, that's stupid. We don't like that,
yeah.
whatever. And I know controversies, and I'm not making light of them, but it's like
Mhm.
controversies. I get it. But this house is pretty scary, and
Yeah.
the actors are really good, and there's rooms where it's very aggressive. Like I said, that last hallway, you get like 3 or 4 really good scares
Yeah.
before you even get out of the house, and it's good. It's aggressive, which I liked that a lot. And it doesn't feel like you're walking through the WWE. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like you're walking through. Yes, there are parts where you do see references to the WWE. There's actually a room you walk through, like a little hallway you walk through that's just TVs with a bunch of wrestling matches on it. And there's a good jump scare there because they know you're going to be looking at the wrestling matches, and then all of a sudden here comes somebody to scare you. And that's smart, utilizing something that catches people's attention.
They do that a lot in these houses. They do that a lot, and that was something that I mean, almost every house has those moments, and I think that's what elevates this year so much with these houses is that they have that diversion. Like, you're looking over here, we know you're gonna look at this. Guess what? Something's coming at you on the other side. So they do that so well.
Or you get somebody that you see coming out this way, and maybe it gets the people in front of you, and you're like, oh, okay, I see that guy. And then all of a sudden there's another one right there. And you're like, what the heck just happened? So the Horror of the White Six, I definitely liked that one a lot.
I say this real quick about that though. If you're a WWE fan, it's a good house because there's a lot of good references. The debut of the YS6, they kind of recreated that as well, which was great. Shay, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but if you ever do, like, just like YouTube it, like it's pretty cool. You're gonna look at it and go, oh yeah, I kind of saw that in the house. And if you're not a wrestling fan, you don't need to be like it's if you're there for that for 100 houses or scary, these things. It delivers. It delivers. You don't need to be arrested. There's nobody doing freaking suplexes and
choke slams.
It's not about that. No,
it's not about that. Okay, so then after that, we did our first original of the night, which was El Artista, a Spanish Haunting. What did you think of that original?
It was my favorite house. That house, I didn't know what to you never know what to expect from the original houses. I mean, you kind of, any IP, what you're looking at. But this house was great, man. Like, it was beautiful inside. The scare, the angles for the scares were great. The actors were fantastic. That the what do you call it? The flying gargoyle thing. That was cool. The room was
and
great.
That distracted you from all the people that were around you.
Yes, because you're like, this thing flying over, this guy flying over, and he literally would go from one room to the next, and you would see him in another room. I mean, we kind of missed him in one because he was going back the other way, but he went. I mean, they had another one of the still actors in there, a statue.
That was like the first. The still actor was one of the first scares you get in there. It scared the crap out of me.
It was great. I mean,
I was like, dude.
I can't wait to do that house again, and we will be doing that. We'll talk off screen because we will. That one was requested. I was like, thank God,
because I didn't want to do that one. Yes, I didn't want to do that one. I want to
go in that one again. Yeah,
I have a feeling that that's going to be House of the Year this year. I don't know what House of the Year was last year. I have to look into it, but I have a feeling. First of all, this house is made by the same person who did Blood Moon, and they did the Dead Man's Wharf, the one with the ship. Everyone talked about that one for the whole season, and that one was the most beautiful house that I've ever been in. The person who made this house, like, they know sets. They know sets. That's all I can say. This house was gorgeous. Walking into the Spanish home was gorgeous. The scares were incredible, and like I said, it was very populated. Like, I'm gonna say this before we continue. You're gonna get runs when you go that may not be good. That does not mean the house isn't good. We got really lucky on both nights that we were there that we got a lot of the good scares. Now some of them when we walked in we didn't get anything, and maybe certain rooms we didn't get anything. But I pretty much got scared in every single house. I got jump scared in every single house that we went into, which was awesome. And I that's what I'm there for. I'm there to get the scares. So when I go through a house and I don't get anything, I'm like, oh man, that sucks. But it doesn't mean the house is bad.
Yeah.
It just means that it was a bad run. So I want to make sure we set the expectations for you guys that, yeah, you might go through this house and just be like, oh, I went through that house and it wasn't that great. That's probably because you got a bad run. That's probably
Yeah,
because you got a
and
bad
the
run.
thing is that I mean, again, the way they do the way they do the conga line that you go
Mhm.
through, you get a lot of the scares
Spoiled.
spoiled for you, and also you can tell where they're coming from.
Oh
That's
yeah,
not
you
the
can
point.
tell.
The point is how good the actors are and
Yeah.
how invested they are in what they're doing. And when you get somebody that can get this close to your face
Hmm.
and they hold that, and you get to that point where you're like, okay, I know you're an actor, but are you really acting?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then they go back. That to me is where you get, you can get the good scares because
The
let's
good
let's face
scares.
it,
Yeah.
you're not walking in. It's not just you and I walking into this house and
Hmm.
nobody around us, and we don't see what's coming.
Yeah.
Like you can see it. But when they come up at you and they're like this, or they stare at
Hmm.
you and they focus
Yeah.
in on you, which we'll get to somebody later who did that to me.
And me
But
too.
yeah, no, that's to me is what I go there for, and I love
Yeah.
it. Nice,
Yeah.
I'm usually the one in the front for art. When it's us, and I see everything happening. It
Hmm.
doesn't, and then I'm not a screamer. I'm like, oh hey, yeah, like because they get like this, they're right in your
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. Not like me. I was screaming quite a bit. I'm surprised I still had a voice after
Yeah,
that.
me too.
But yeah, no, El Artista was beautiful. The scares were incredible. It was I saw the panel that they did at Spooky Empire. I didn't see it in person. I saw it on YouTube.
Mhm.
And when I saw all the designs for the costumes and the characters, I was excited for this one. And yeah, I am definitely excited for this one. I was definitely like that one's like the top of the list right now for
Yeah.
me. So yeah, El Artista is a good one. After that, we did Jason Universe. What did you think about Jason Universe?
Another surprise. Like because it's Jason. Yeah, I enjoy Jason. I'm not like
Hmm.
like a major Friday the 13th fan, but Jason's iconic.
Hmm.
Um Sometimes again, it's an IP house. You think you're gonna walk in and you're just gonna get scenes from a movie. That house is fantastic. It's great.
Yes.
I can't say like it's like overdoing. Okay, well, every house is pretty much like this
Pretty
house
much, yeah.
was unbelievable.
Yeah, pretty much.
The amount of Jasons. They were all massive dudes, big dudes. They came out at the
Hmm.
right time. The scares jumped out.
The Hall of
The
Jasons.
Hall of Jasons. Dude,
That
that
one.
was a haunted
That
house in
was.
itself. And
That was. That was a haunt. That's
yes,
like the definition of the word haunted house.
that
Jason
was great.
Universe.
That was great. It's just like a barrage of Jasons, and they kind of did. I remember like the years ago when they did Jason, by the Jaws area.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't go through it that
they
year, but
had they did like at the end of the house. They kind of did something similar where he was coming out of everywhere.
mhm,
I know that house didn't get great reviews, but
no.
when they do that, when he's coming out of everywhere, and this one like turned that up like to 11.
Yeah. It's also because of like the way the set is
Yeah.
designed for this one.
Mhm.
Yeah, so first of all, I wore my Jason dress that I usually wear to Halloween Horror Nights just because it's comfortable. And one of the Jasons that popped out, I said to him because he jumped out of my face, I was like, no, no, no. I was like, I have you on my dress. And he just stood there and stared at me for a long time. And I thought that was great. I loved it. Like I loved that. He
We
just
got
stared at
stuck in
me.
the
Yeah,
area,
because we
right?
got
We
stopped.
got
Yeah, we
stuck.
got
Yeah, we got
stopped. We
stopped.
got
Yeah,
stopped in that area for a reason.
and you were just
And yeah,
standing there
he
staring.
was just standing there staring.
Like,
And I'm
dude,
just like, okay, okay, like what's going on
you
here?
could go
So
back in the window.
I really loved that interaction. I thought that was cool because it's like he jump scared me, and then I just like kind of like sometimes I'll say something to the people when they jump scare me, and I'm like, no, 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 I have you on my dress, and he just looked
Mhm,
at me and he started doing this, looking like,
mhm.
and I'm like, okay, all right. That area, the Fast and the Furious area, to me, it always has bad
Yeah,
houses. This is
cursed.
the first time that they actually utilize the space really, really well. Even that break in the middle, having Pamela Voorhees there, and
Mhm.
I'm sure we went through it when it was light. I'm sure during the evening that
Yeah,
part's really cool. It's all lit
yeah,
up. Um, that was so cool because they actually utilized that space really, really well.
yeah.
Um, And then like the second half of the house, like I didn't know what we were going to be getting into. And the Hall of Jasons, when we say it's the Hall of Jasons, it's not like a room with Jason mannequins and Jason, one of them's real. No, it's like you're walking through like bushes, and then the bushes drop down and there's a Jason and another bush, and sometimes they'll do it at the same time and you get it both sides.
Yeah.
And then it's like different iterations of Jason. You have like the Baghead, you have the Jason part like 4, and like it's really good, a good ending to the house, because it's relentless. It's
I
relentless.
don't know. I know you missed the Baghead Jason
Yeah,
because he
I
was
don't
the
think he
first
was
one. I'm wondering if they put them in order.
maybe.
Yeah, they might have. And then to be honest, like I couldn't tell. I can't tell the differences from the mask. I mean, there's some that you can.
Mhm.
Obviously, Baghead is that was like the first one that he
Yeah.
did. But and that was
Mhm.
the first one that he was really quick on the left hand side there. But
Yeah,
I
I didn't
wonder if
see
each
him.
one was like, the progression to,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to tell. I know you have that thing in your apartment where it has like the
The
different Jason
different
masks,
masks.
but
Yeah, I do.
there's so like small details on them that are
Yeah,
different.
and and that part is so quick. And like I said,
Mhm,
there
mhm.
some of them were coming out at the same time. Some of them was like one popped out and then the other popped out. So it was so well done. And I honestly, that was the one I was the least excited for as far as the IPs go, because like it was between that and Fallout. Those were the two.
Yeah,
Because like Fallout, I was like, I just don't know how you're gonna make this scary.
right.
And then that one, I was like, it's Jason. It's gonna be the same thing. Going to the camp and seeing the campers. You didn't see a lot of campers, which was cool.
No, no.
You didn't see a lot of
They had
campers.
the screens
The projections, yeah,
that would show people partying, which was pretty cool.
partying, yeah,
Mhm.
and then you were kind of walking. It was almost like, so it
Like you
more
were
so felt
Jason.
like, yeah, it more it more so felt like we were under the threat of Jason, like we were the ones under the threat of Jason,
Well,
rather than
I felt like in some of those I was either Jason or I was like, "Oh my god, let me in this house."
yeah,
Where
right?
you're
Like
in the
I don't want to.
apartment, let me in real quick. Either
Yeah,
one.
exactly. So that one ended up being really good. I'm excited to do that one again at some point. I know
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do it again because my roommate, she loves Friday the 13th, and when we go, she's gonna want to do Friday the 13th. So I'm really excited to do that one again. So yeah, that
Mhm,
one was great too.
mhm.
After that, we did Galkin, which is the Monsters of the North. That was the one with all the icy creatures. What did you think of that one?
That was a lot of fun. It wasn't what I expected. I was expecting a nice I was expecting like a cool like icy like experience.
Hmm.
And it wasn't what I expected, but I really liked it. It was another beautifully done house. Great, nice jump scares. Yeah, I liked it. I really did.
Hmm.
It's if we do a ranking at the end, it's right up there for me.
Yeah.
Again, original houses, I never know what to expect because I'm
Yeah.
an IP person. Like I think you're either an IP person or you're original person. I know a lot of the diehards want to say that they're original. I've been going
Mhm.
to this since 1994, so get behind me, all right, guys. I mean, yeah, I've had gaps in there, but the first time I came to Halloween Horror Nights is 1994.
1994, yeah.
I am an IP person, but
Mhm.
yeah, it delivered to me. It delivered. I really liked it.
It was good. That was one of the ones I was most hyped for
Mhm.
as far as the originals go. It was super interesting. The story was super interesting. I wasn't too keen on walking in there and seeing that Blair Witch Project symbol hanging from
Yeah, it was
the
everywhere.
top.
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
everywhere. I was like, what the heck? Are we going to the Blair Witch? Like, what's happening here?
Mhm.
And then it was cool because it ended with us going into the belly of the beast.
Mhm.
And that's the one where the guy lingered in your face
Yeah,
when he
yeah,
jumped
yeah,
out. That's the
yep.
one where he popped out and he lingered in your face. And he was, yeah, it was crazy. And then I actually dropped to the floor for the first time in a
That's
haunted
right.
house in a long, long time. I actually dropped to the floor. And I'm not encouraging people to drop to the floor, but let's just say this scare actor came out and swiped like right over my head. And I'm
Mhm.
short as it is. And he swiped and I just dropped. I just ducked out. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else to do. So there were great scares in there. Amazing, beautiful costumes. Beautiful costumes. I
Mhm.
loved everything. Only complaint about the house, I wanted it to be cold.
That was it. That was the only
That was my only
the
complaint.
expectation was, and it probably would have been, well, I have it pretty high on my list. But
Yeah, no, it's
if it was cold,
yeah,
that's what I was. That's what I wanted. But again,
yeah,
I mean, as a matter of fact, they had that's when they had like the burning the wicker.
yeah, they had
Yeah, so
they had the
it was,
Wicker Man.
which was a fantastic effect.
That was
And
cool. That was
yeah, it was a
cool.
great
And
effect.
it was
I liked it.
massive. It was like this
Yeah,
massive
yeah,
effigy that
it
they
was
were burning.
great.
Yeah, it had the Wicker Man in there. So yeah,
Hmm.
I really liked that one as well. After that, we did the last house of the night that we did on Saturday was Fallout.
Mm.
What did you think of Fallout?
Um, it's probably at the bottom of my list.
Hmm.
It's another one that I feel like Freddy, like FNAF, it's you're just walking through the show.
Scenes.
And that's
Yeah.
fine. It was fine. Like that's great. But that's all it really was for me. And there was no like the difference between that and Freddy's is you weren't breaking any new ground with that. Like
Yeah.
the Freddy's had the animatronics, and you get to see
Hmm.
those for the first time. Like you always wanted to experience going
To
through there
see.
in a
Yeah.
safe
To see.
space. And nobody, nobody's. I mean, I'm sure there are Fallout fans that
You
always wanted to live inside the video game or something, which is
hmm.
fine. And it wasn't a horrible house. It was good. Like there
No,
are no
it was
losers here
fun.
this year. Like somebody has to be at the bottom. And
Yeah.
unfortunately for
It was
me,
fun.
that was one. It was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun. It's just that it wasn't scary for me. I mean, I even like, most of them aren't scary. But there weren't really those moments. It was more like you become like a sightseer, and
Yeah.
that's a house for me where I become a sightseer, and it's
Hmm.
okay, and that's to me most of the time for IPs
Yeah.
when it's an HHN thing, you become a sightseer and go, oh yeah,
Hmm.
oh okay, yeah, oh well, somebody just jumped out at me, oh okay, that's how I feel in that
Yeah.
and that's how I felt.
Absolutely. That's how I felt with Fallout. Like I've only played one Fallout game my entire life, and I haven't watched the show yet. And
So great,
when I heard and I've heard it's
so
fantastic.
great,
And when I
yeah.
heard that they were doing a haunted house for Fallout, I was like, why? It's not scary, And I was right, it wasn't scary. The
Mm,
only part that was scary for me was the ending because the ghoul got me twice. That
mm,
was the only part that was scary. He did come out and he scared the crap out of me twice. But other than that, I mean, it's a cool house, and especially if you are a
mm,
fan of Fallout, you're gonna love it
mm,
because it's got so much, you know, references. Even with me knowing the bare minimum, I was like, okay, yeah, I see
mhm,
that. I remember that. I've heard of that. I've seen that.
mm,
And then the ending of the house, the very like last thing you see is actually an teaser for next season.
yeah.
So that was cool, to see that, but yeah, it's kind of I think it's kind of at the bottom for me too because I just really, I wasn't expecting it to shoot up to the top. However, I'm going to do it again. If I'm with
Yeah,
people that
yeah,
want to do it
yeah.
again, I'm going to do it again. It was fun. I had a good time in the house. There was nothing that I was like, "Oh, wow, this is bad," So,
Right. If I
yeah,
had like if I was like rating them with like out of 10, would give it
mhm.
like a 6.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Give it like a
it's
6.5.
still pretty good. I mean, like I said, it's worth going in, especially if you're a
Mhm.
Fallout fan. Like, definitely do it.
Yeah.
Nice. They got scenes from the show, and that's what I mean. Like, you become like kind of just like
Mhm.
a spectator looking at things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right, now we have Sunday to talk about, and the first house that we did was Terrifier. We started off strong. What did you think of Terrifier?
100% delivered.
Oh yeah.
Um, one of the most uneasiest, like I put El Artista at the top. This is like
Hmm.
1B, like 1A and 1B for me.
Hmm.
When you walk up, I have never walked into a Halloween Horror Nights haunted house and felt uneasy in my life.
Hmm.
I've been doing this since I was 18.
Yeah.
um, you feel it as soon
Hmm.
as you see that face. The
Hmm.
smell,
It was
it's
musty,
it's musty.
musty.
It's the most uneasy feeling of a house that I've ever been in from HHN.
Hmm.
it delivered. If you never watch, you don't even have to watch the movies.
No, no,
Don't
you don't.
you don't have to watch the movies. Art the Clown has become an icon. he is
Oh,
he
he's
is
like
that
America's
guy.
sweetheart right now.
He is that guy. Every single actor in that house had his mannerisms down perfectly.
Perfect.
Fantastic. The scenes from the movie. Yes, they had scenes from the movie, but you didn't have any time to really enjoy the scenes of the movie because you felt uneasy walking through that house. The scent of the house that came through. They were like, "Oh yeah, the bedrooms, the bedroom scene or the bathrooms." No, it doesn't matter. The
The
whole
whole
house
house.
smells the same, and it's bad. And it's not like
Yeah.
well, you want to puke. It just makes you go, "This is
Mm.
wrong."
This is stank.
Yeah, this is you
It's
walking
like
in the house.
it's
This is
like
wrong.
walking into like a storage unit that's been closed up for like over like 2 decades. That's what
Yeah,
it's like. You walk into a storage unit and then
yeah,
you're like, "Oh, it's musty in here." You know that it's probably rained and some rain has gotten in, and
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, I
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought I thought we were going to see some rats. I thought we were going to see some, like cockroaches. Like I was expecting that. Um if you don't like gore, do not go in this
Don't go in
house.
the house. Don't go in the
Avoid
house.
this house, like, because and it's funny because I was actually watching Super Enthused when they went to the premium screen night, and
Mhm.
they were saying that the house wasn't that gory, and I was like, oh, that's surprising. And when I watched videos, because when other people are taking videos, you see certain things, they cut certain things out, they're moving the camera around so you can get
Yeah.
everything. So I didn't think it looked that gory. No, it is the goriest house I have ever been in my entire
I mean, you're
life.
literally walking through, and there's a room, and there's not the only house that was like this, but it had the entrails.
Mhm.
You're
You're
walking through
walking through
entrails.
the
Like
hacksaw room.
yeah, yeah,
I ain't gonna like the hacksaw room. Like because when I first saw the hacksaw room, all I was seeing was the projection of him sawing the girl in half. I did not see all the sawed in half bodies on the side, all the
mm,
organs on the floor,
yeah,
the
yeah,
organs coming down from the ceiling, and then it's
yes,
dripping. So it's supposed to be dripping blood on you. And
yes.
then I was like, I was looking around. I was like, oh, this is disgusting. I
And
was like, and I love the Terrifier movies. I watch them quite frequently. I'm not bothered by the gore, but this was like to my limit. This pushed me like right there. And I wasn't going to get sick or anything, but I was like, oh, this is nasty. And
it's
then the wet path, I ain't never seen nothing like that before in my life at
it's
Halloween Horror Nights.
I didn't get that wet. I bet you we do it again because we will do it
Yeah.
again Saturday. That was requested as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that was requested as
I'm
well.
shocked.
Actually, what we yeah. So like I said, we'll talk about it later.
Mhm.
But yeah, I didn't get as wet. Although like I got hit hard with
With
water, like a
water
big
on your
drop
hat.
on my hat. But I have a feeling I'm going to get soaked the next time I'm going
Mhm.
through. I think
I
it's hit
got
and miss with some people, or
yeah,
they might
I
have
got
toned it down
pretty
already. They might have toned it.
yeah. I got pretty wet, but I mean it's just the thought when
Mm,
what you're seeing
yeah,
when you're walking through that path, and then like what you're feeling on your body. It's just the thought. It was, but as somebody who loves Terrifier, it was a love letter to the movie, completely a
it's
complete love
fantastic.
letter to the movie. And I definitely think that it is like it's one to do if you're a huge Terrifier fan, and it's one to do if you can handle gore. If you can't handle
Yeah,
gore and you don't like Terrifier, please do not go in that
they
house.
need more houses like this, and I
They
don't.
do.
Some people may. I don't know if anybody's going to say it was scary or not. Um,
Mhm.
but again, the uneasy feeling. It's just like watching the
The
Terrifier movie.
movies,
The
yeah, the
uneasy.
movies.
It's hard to watch for some people. Like,
Yeah.
um, and when he was dressed as a Santa Claus and literally
Mhm.
standing right in front of me, like maybe right
I
here,
know
and he
that
just
was
stared at
he was just
me.
staring at you,
He
he was
just
smiling.
stared, and he didn't break his eye, like eye contact.
His
I'm like,
eyes were
dude, and I'm
following
walking like
you,
this. I'm going, and he's just like.
and you're like, "Is this actually art? Is
Ooh,
art really like"
boy, let me tell you, you
yeah,
don't want that guy
the house
staring at
is
you like that.
definitely like a sensory overload too, because they have that one area that's like the Christmas area and the lights are
Yeah,
flashing, and then you've got
yeah,
the
yeah,
jump scares. It's great though. It's a fantastic house. Of course, you got the
mhm,
Clown Cafe. They play the song.
of
Hope
course.
they don't have a Banjo Blue, but that's
The
okay.
only downside, the only down part was that they didn't have an actual person.
They should have had an actual person in
They
Banjo
should have had
Blue.
somebody there.
Yeah.
That was the
But
only
yeah,
down.
no.
Mhm. Great house,
Definitely loved
great
that
house.
house. Love that house. Then after that, the next house that we did, I'm trying to remember, Grave of Flesh. Grave of
Yeah.
Flesh. What did you think of that one?
That one is lower on my list.
Mhm.
I want to do it again because
Hmm.
again, we only went through each house once, so
Hmm.
and it was okay. Like again, there were no losers. All the houses were good. All the houses were good this
Hmm.
year. I want to reiterate that. But there are some that were going, okay, that was a thing. It was fine.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really get me, but I want to try. I would like to try it again.
Hmm. Yeah, I will say this. I think because I had such low expectations for it that I
Mm,
ended up liking it more than I thought I was going to like
okay.
it because it was literally like the bottom of the list for me. I was like, I do not care about this house. I don't care if I do it or not. And then I went in it and I was like, oh, you know what? This is an interesting concept. It's
Yeah.
done well. I do agree that I want to go through it again just to see how I feel about it. I will say this, it smelled great in there.
Yeah,
It
right.
smelled
Yeah, it did,
wonderful.
which is kind of
It was
weird.
great after Terrifier and being in that
Yeah.
musty, dusty, crusty area, going into this place and it smells like flowers and patchouli and it's like, earthy. I was like, oh, one
What I
area literally smelled like a metaphysical shop. I was like, I'm kind of
yeah.
calm right now. Like,
What I missed though, and I did see this watching somebody else's video, was
mhm.
I missed the fact that the 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 grave hole was at the
Oh
top.
yeah, I
I
saw
didn't
that.
notice that, and I
Yeah.
saw that on somebody's walkthrough,
Hmm.
and
I
I
saw that.
definitely I that's why I was like, I want to see that again because I want to like I want to see
Yeah.
what the how it
It's a
looked.
it's
And
a
I
that
completely missed it.
I will say for me, that was probably the scariest part of the house
Yeah,
because I don't like the idea of being buried alive,
right,
and
right.
it felt like I was being buried alive. So
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
completely missed it.
oh, that's unsettling. But yeah, no, I definitely want to do that one again. It was better than I expected, but not high up on my list
Mhm.
either. Then we did Dolls Let's Play Dead. What did you think of that one?
Um, that was another one that made me feel uneasy.
Hmm.
It had a bad smell in it, but
Oh
again,
God,
that's
it's
part
terrible.
of the ambiance of a house that is going to make
Hmm. Yeah.
it get your senses right.
Hmm.
But I felt uneasy in that house. It just and that's probably a good thing because that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want in those things. You don't want people going, "Oh, this is fun." Ha, 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 ha." No, you want people
Hmm.
going, "Okay, this is creepy as heck." Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
again, didn't know what to expect. I don't have a fear of dolls like like you said you think that they're
I
creepy.
do.
But the smell in there
Hmm.
definitely was like, oh gosh, like
Yeah.
this is
Not
not a
right.
good time. Yeah, this is not a good time at all. And
No.
yeah, it was again good house, strong house.
Hmm.
Um, you know, very well done, very well decorated, and
Hmm.
again,
The set was really
the scent
nice.
is what does it.
The scent was awful. It to me it smelled like burnt plastic and burnt hair together. Like if someone put plastic and hair into like a pot and boiled it, and like that's what it smelled like to me. It was for me. For me personally, it was more overbearing than Terrifier. Terrifier stunk, this was overbearing. This felt
Yeah,
like it was like in your body when you
yeah,
were
yeah.
smelling it. I was like, oh, I was getting nauseous. Um, some of the costumes were just horrific in this one. That spider doll thingy that was hanging from the ceiling was like a huge nope, honestly. It was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it. Definitely will check that one out again.
Hmm, hmm.
I like that one a lot as
Yeah,
well. Yeah, that was a strong
yeah.
house. And then the last one that we did was Hatchet and Chains Demon Bounty Hunters. What did you think of that
um, I any house these actors, man, like the lady that was outside,
one?
just
Hmm.
so good.
She
Just
did a great
so
job.
good, and I mean, when you're online for that long and you watch
Hmm.
somebody doing that over and over and over again, and they're just so good at it, and it wasn't like
Hmm.
remember, a couple of years ago, I think it was a couple of years ago, was it a couple of years ago, that one where by Central Park, the one guy that kept coming out and doing the same shtick
Oh
over,
yeah, 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 yeah. I remember
which
that
got
the
annoying,
Dr. Oddfellow. Yeah,
which got annoying, like, it was like, "Dude, no, no,
where we were
no."
standing there waiting for the
Yeah,
walking
right,
tacos for like
yes,
ever.
right, yeah, he was horrible. I mean, no offense to the
Mhm.
actor, but it was just like it was annoying.
It was
Um,
very loud. It was very
yeah,
loud, and I think that's what made it even more like frustrating to be next to
she
because it was just loud.
She was so good.
Hmm.
And when we got up there, she got in your face. Of
Yeah,
course,
she
of
did.
course, she got in your face,
She
and she
told
did
me I
her
was gonna
thing.
die, and I was
Yep.
like, "Oh, okay."
The house was good. The house was strong. Another strong house. Not knowing what to expect. That I know was part of the was
The
it
Slaughter Cinema,
Slaughter Cinema?
Slaughter
Yeah,
Cinema 2.
Slaughter
Sorry.
Cinema too. Yeah, sorry. I know it's part of that. Still don't know what to expect when they give something its own
Yeah,
house,
its own house. Yeah.
but it was another solid. Again, I want to go in it again. I want to see it
Yeah.
again, and really get really get into the lore and what they're trying to
Hmm.
say. Because when you go through these things one time, you're just like, oh,
You're just
and,
yeah,
but no, loved it. Yeah,
yeah,
it's in the middle of the pack for me, but I really liked it. I really did.
yeah. For me, it was brutal. For me, it was brutal. Those actors really liked me in that house for some
Yeah, they
reason, and
did.
I'm pretty sure I got every single scare that you could get
You
in that
did.
house. And there was one point where it was just one right after the other, right after the other, right
Mhm.
after the other, and I couldn't breathe at the end of it. When we walked out, I had to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
That is what I look for in haunted houses. That
Yes. Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
I look for. I look for those moments where they are just so aggressive with me that I can't breathe. And I haven't had that I mean, I had a little bit of that at Halloween Horror Nights last year with Insidious. I had
Mm.
a taste
That
of
was a
that
good house. Yeah.
with that last room where it was like the different monsters popping out at you, but it was so short. This was the
Mhm.
whole house. There
Mhm.
was somebody everywhere. And it got to a point where in the middle of the house, I got scared of looking in the corners. Like every time we went around the corner, I was like, no, 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 no. I know there's someone there. And then he would come out and I'm like, I knew you were there. And and that's been a
Still
long
got
time
you.
since I've had that actually happen through the entire experience. And
Mhm.
to be quite honest, I don't think that's ever happened to me at Halloween Horror Nights, like aside from when I was a kid.
Mhm.
Um, Usually it was Busch Gardens that happened to me
Mhm.
when I used to go into the Deathwater Bayou house.
Mhm.
That house, when the moment you, it's the same thing. They had somebody on the porch that was like doing the
Mhm.
doing a little show, and then you go in, and as soon as you go in, it's just one right after the other. Then they had the people jumping down on the bungee. It was just you didn't get a moment to breathe, and when you got out of the house, you finally took that deep breath, and you're like, oh wow. So yeah, I didn't know what to expect from Hatchet and Chains. That was another one that was at the bottom of my list because
Mhm.
I was just like, the Slaughter Cinema houses, they usually lean too much into the comedy, so it's probably not going to be scary. No, it was scary for me. So I definitely want to do it again. I'm definitely like
Yeah.
I'm down to do all of these again, but that one was intense for me.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's all 10. So I know we kind of said it already, but what would you say is your favorite house as of right now, the beginning of the season?
It's El Artista.
El
And
Artista.
yeah, it's my favorite. It's close second is Terrifier. It's right
Hmm.
there with it. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was just so much fun. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
Like
El
I can't wait
Artista
to
was
like
really
look
good.
at everything. It was just so well done. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
my top.
And then what would you say is your least favorite right now? Like the bottom that you want to kind of give it another chance and see
Well, probably Fallout. That's
Fallout.
at the bottom of my list. Yeah, so I would definitely give it another chance. But
Hmm.
I don't see it moving much because of the nature of the house. Again, it's just like
Yeah.
a nice walkthrough of the show, and that's fine.
Hmm.
That's fine. It's for people who love it, will enjoy it. And I
Hmm.
thought it was okay. I didn't hate it. There was no
Yeah.
house that I hated. There was no house that I go, oh God, that was a freaking waste of time. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
No, there was none. But somebody
Hmm.
has to be at the bottom, and unfortunately, it's
Yep.
Fallout.
Well, I would say that my favorite is Hatchet and Chains,
Oh
only
wow,
because of
didn't expect that.
how intense it was, how intense of an experience it was. That's
Okay.
probably going to change as the season goes on. Because remember, last year the museum was my favorite house when we started because of the experience we had where we were
Right.
by
Yes. And
ourselves
then we
through the
went
house.
through it again,
But
and it
then
was like,
after we went through it a couple of times, it wasn't that scary, and it kind of moved down the list. Right now, Hatchet and Chains, because even and we went through that with a large crowd of people. And we were in line for a while for
yeah,
Hatchet and
yeah,
Chains,
yeah.
And even still, I felt like I was just getting targeted. Like they just looked at me and they were like, that's the one we're going to get. And I loved it. I might have been screaming my head off, but I loved it because that's what I expect from my haunted houses. I don't want to walk through and just be like, oh, here comes that guy and he's scaring that person in front of me. Oh, we walked past the hole and he's not there and now he's scaring people behind me. Like I want to feel the threat of whatever's in there, you know?
Right.
I would say probably close second for me would also be Terrifier as well. Just because that one was like just so well done. And then I agree with the worst one is Fallout for me. It kind of lived up to exactly what I thought it was going to live up to, where it's like, yeah, it's nice, and especially if you're a fan, you're going to love it. But for me, I'm like, this could have not been a house. You know, it could have been a scare zone. Maybe it would have worked as a scare zone.
Yeah.
You know, being outside and all that stuff.
Could have been the New York scare zone. Like, I mean, it really could have, because it's the same, not the same premise, but it's
it would have worked.
Yeah,
it would have worked, but no, that's my least favorite though. All right, so that is our recap of HHN, the first weekend that we went. This year's been pretty good so far. We're going to be going again this weekend, so we will have different opinions every time we go. I'm really happy because last year I felt like it was lackluster, and this year it's like they kind of made up for last year being lackluster. So,
I agree.
Yeah, we didn't really try any of the specialty food this time around, but that's because the lines were like insanely long.
Yeah.
I do like the cup that they have, even though it's not blinky. I think it's really pretty. So, but yeah, that's where we're gonna leave it for today. If you've been already, let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, leave a comment. Anything that you do lets us know that you enjoyed what you just saw. And thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again with another creepy critique.
See ya.